Right, shall we kick off?
Let's
I
kick
We
off.
shall.
so
Take it away.
the week after a big news week, NFP was Friday, FOMC was last Wednesday, and I'm sure looking at this lovely daily chart, there are lots of line drawers who have got really excited on Friday. Weren't they all going really excited about we've crossed the 200, whatever it is?
Look at that trend line.
Yeah, there's going to be. Let's find
The
something.
Golden Cross also came up.
Oh, excellent. So there'll be people looking at some line that's going down here and getting excited. There'll be people looking at a line coming up from here and getting excited. Who cares? The thing to qualify, I think, is that high on Thursday. That's what I just had a quick look at. Did it show signs of being high enough? You can see we went through some previous supply that was up there. But how did it actually trade if we look at the volume? So that would have been Thursday. It's this level, scrolly. It's all the way up here.
Holy moly.
Oh, it put a nice price projector in. It actually threw me when I looked at it because I thought, oh, I remember there being some unresolved CPO single prints up there around 10. But actually, it was the 10 down here, which I was remembering. So we're only 100 points away from what I had noticed.
What's a 10 between friends?
Yeah, so I think no reason to think at the moment we're going to blast our way up. Yep, we have nibbled our way down into some of the single prints from FOMC. No reason to think that ultimately they're not going to resolve, so that's interesting. Some run down here. I'm sure if we did some retracement level on the most recent leg or whatever, it would coincide with something. Again, who cares? We know what's there. There's midpoint from FOMC, which we seem to have traded to. It's within a tick. So look, some interesting stuff below us to look at. But it's Monday. Yeah, we'll just see what happens as we begin. Now, overnight, price trajectory at the low at the moment. SD1 off the VWAP. Up at the high overnight, also price projector. So into the open today, I'm going to be sitting on hands, just, see what starts to play out. We break the overnight low, it gets interesting that we can trade our way down for about another 10, 15 points. That's a decent number. Then we see what happens there. But other than that, there's nothing exceptional looking at the structure that is really causing me to feel any particular excitement. NQ here did much the same thing. Went up last week through some previous areas of supply. For RTY, okay, big fat round number, 2000 was the big thing. Looks like it left UB at the high. YM hasn't gone as far up and is heading down more aggressively. But, YM, fewer constituents, it's going to move more. Oh, what's the word? There'll be less smoothing in terms of what it's doing. So I'm keeping an eye on YM. Look at these levels down here, around 33,600. We can just be mindful around that as well. But it's Monday. Yeah, I'm going to start the week gently and just see what occurs. The main thing grabbing my attention is this run of single prints below us on ES. In terms of the calendar, what do we have going on this week? It's the second full week in the month, so there'll still be data, but it's going to be less significant than the first week in the month. Let's see, Tuesday, anything coming out? No.
I find it amusing that there is apparently on the calendar, President Biden speaks tonight, and it's considered low priority. How often do we see the president of the U.S. making a random speech about something and it's considered low priority?
Is it a random? When's the State of the Union?
Is it on the calendar?
Is that what that is?
Here on FX Street.
I don't know. On my news plugin, which is referencing the
Forex
other one,
Factory, I guess.
Forex Factory. Yeah, it's at 20 o'clock Central.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the State of the Union. That's
it is.
why it's a big deal.
I would have thought it would have said that. Okay, never mind.
Right. So Powell is speaking tomorrow. Be mindful of that. That can screw things up. What else have we got on the calendar? Wednesday. Another Fed speaker. Thursday, anything going on? European stuff. Fine. Pre-market, consumer price index, Germany, that might give a little something. Jobless claims. GDP info for the UK. Who cares? That can move us, can't it? Michigan consumer sentiment, that can sometimes cause decent reaction on Friday. So there's nothing major, but you just need to be aware of the schedule on the releases. There's a couple of things pre-market Thursday and also Michigan consumer sentiment on Friday that could take you by surprise. Some people even lose track of when FOMC is, not mentioning any names, Jonathan Van Kloot. So just be mindful of that. That is about it in terms of what I see. I haven't been doing any overnight scalping or anything. I'm trading quite lightly this week. I'm just nursing a couple of evals through to PA status. Let's have a quick look at the TRG calendar. It's a little bit different this week.
It is.
So today, Ides, that's this. Then new session from Jeff, Scalper's Mindset, and that's the theme for this month, isn't it, Jeff, on more of your live sessions?
Yes. Yeah, this one is going to be about, what do you need to know to execute scalps productively? And it's very little, but there's a couple of key things. So every time I walk up to the computer, it's kind of like deconstructing the blank. What's the context? What are you executing against? And I'm just going to do that every Monday. So I really want to drill that in because there's a number of you trying to, learn scalping, and this is kind of a critical piece. So join us.
Cool. Tomorrow, I'll be doing a fishing trip around the initial balance. I'll do an hour. So we'll see if we can catch the break the initial balance. Then later that morning, JVC has something really aimed at our, newer members, students, potential members on how to get the most out of TLG. We'll be running this.
Yes, indeed.
I think a bunch of people should attend that, even if you're in TRG and you're relatively new. There's a lot of just great nuggets that nobody knows are there because, they just don't explore, and I get that. So
there's a lot of stuff that isn't necessarily obvious, but is highly useful. So join me for that.
The espresso machine on the third floor. I mean, that one is special.
That one. No, nobody gets to use that one but us. So that's for staff.
All right, let's out the bag. Damn it. On Wednesday, Jeff will be trading the open in the first hour. Then we've got Dojo. Thursday, I'll do another quick fishing trip, which will be around B period. Then I'm going to do office hours for an hour. So bring your questions, think them through. You can also post anything in the pit ahead of time if you want to think about it and have a reasoned answer. Friday is back to prehistoric ages with weekly recap and obviously gaming the close. So real
quick comment on the Dino session this week. The three we've done so far have been kind of about the negative psychology, surviving losses, keeping your confidence, et cetera. We're going to change gears a little bit this Friday, and we're going to talk about the positives and how to implement. Trading has to be part of your life if you're going to be a consistent trader. And so, what does that mean? How can you, it's a great lifestyle, but you have to kind of understand what it is. So that's what I'm going to talk about.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So that's about it in terms of my view from what's in front of us on charts. Jeff, did you have a hedge fund call?
We sure did, and it was very, very interesting because, gosh, if you've listened in on, real quickly, just for anybody that doesn't already know, I am part of a group of 17 now. It fluctuates a little bit, the numbers, but we meet every Sunday or Monday, early morning Monday, and these guys all run major funds. I'm the only exception to that, but I'm friends with some of the people and have known them a long time, so I get to be a fly on the wall. And again, these aren't people saying, here's what I'm trading. One of the guys runs the derivatives desk at Goldman. So he can't say what he's doing, but, we talk about the context and things people are watching and whatnot. So having said that, today was very interesting because the last 3 or 4 hedge fund calls we've had, other than waiting for Formula One to restart in a few weeks, we've talked about how this is totally an event-driven market and momentum is critical and the volume only comes in when there's an event, and that's changing. We got past a bunch of big events last week, and the mentality now is very interesting. It's the one of the participants explained this or described this as a tug of war between the volatility and the fact, and this is really interesting, think about this, the volatility tug of war, in other words, the event-driven market, and then The fact that equity funds are sitting on a ton of cash and they have to put it to work. They don't make money. They don't get paid to sit in cash. But obviously, the question for them is there going to be a push down to buy? And so it's a very, very interesting spot right now, right here in the next couple of days. And everybody is looking at that. They're watching the volume and they're watching the equities and to see, are those big funds who are sitting on a lot of money going to start putting it to work? Or, are they going to, did they use this as an opportunity to take some off? We never really know right away. So the tone of the conversation changed completely. Now it's about, is this level going to stabilize and hold? And, kind of the arbitrary line in the sand everyone's kind of watching. We made the 4,200 spot that everyone was watching as a place to potentially reshort. And now the question for putting cash to work bulls is 4,000 has to hold. And, that's another 100 points down. So, this is a very interesting scenario. If you look at like what Lee was saying about the structure and what's below us, the most recent range is right below us down at like 40.50. We were down there for 2 weeks in a row without really, we pushed the extremes, but we never left that range until we got FOMC. So lots of eyeballs on that. And those eyeballs are slinging lots of money. So this is really, really worth considering. When their tone changes about what they're thinking, it often is reflective of what, Wall Street in general is thinking. So,
well, just through a fettuccine retracement on the daily, and we got to exactly the midpoint since the high.
Yep, it couldn't be more perfect to set up it's a classic ambush zone. Everybody could be wrong here. And if you watch Twitter and any of the advisory services, they're all talking about how, okay, we're above the 150 or the 200 or whatever. And, now it's off to the races. And the only way that happens is if all those funds start putting cash to work. And, will they? So stay tuned.
Yeah. Cool. I think that's about it in terms of eyes. I think we can say burning desires going once. Nothing more from my side. JBC, anything from you?
Nothing special for me. Just the big thing this week is just the different sessions we're going to be doing, and mine in particular. My TRG exploiting TRG sessions, by the way, are free. So as Lee mentioned, they are aimed primarily, but definitely not exclusively, at the non-member students who maybe have not ever seen the library, not ever booked things from the calendar, not used the pit much, etc. So I'm going to walk through all that stuff, not all in a single session. It's too much to cover in one sitting, but we will do it bit by bit and, eat the TRG elephant a bite at a time. So look forward to that.
Well, Pete just shown a comment about Valuator Race to the Bottom, which continues. I think the session we had at the weekend with Chris was pretty good fun. The 80% deal that they've given us is a nice deal. 80% lifetime. People get excited with that on Apex. So, and
I think you're thinking about that, by the way. Big Shock is smartly just as a hedge. A lot of people, I think, feel like right now, especially that, well, no, Apex is the place to be, period. That's all I want to do. They're the best. And that may be, but they're not the only, and something can still go really sideways. So
and I don't believe Lena are going to disappear in the next 3 months.
Yeah, exactly. So a hedge is never the worst idea in the world.
But
I have Bill Knox.
I totally agree with that. And but there's also been some good conversation in the pit about this. Make sure you do the math on some of these deals, because some of them are worth doing, and some of them, start with a PA and just pay the life.
Silly.
If you do the math on that, it just doesn't make sense. At first glance, it looks really good.
This is fascinating. So some of the Hispanic ones, Goal, were doing this about 2 years ago, and it looked very dodgy. And then Tick, who are based in Romania, they've been offering it through February. So my instinct on this is, I have mixed feelings about it. If you know the stats of people blowing up PAs, then this is a cash grab to get cash from people that are going to blow up PAs.
Yep.
But if you don't blow up a PA, for me, 3x leverage isn't very attractive compared to tying money up for 5 months. 10x leverage. So, the flash sale, $15 from a week or so ago. That's great. an 80% discount and a one-time fee at about 150. Okay, 8x, 10x leverage, that's good. 3x leverage doesn't really get my attention.
Yep.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. If you're doing the 150, quote unquote, that deal kind of makes some sense because you get the leverage. But that one that you have to finish by the end of February, that would be a push to get that done. But if you did, that's a really good deal.
Cool.
Yeah, good. Okay, so I think let's wrap there. I guess next session is Scalper's Mindset, isn't it? A little bit later.
It is.
So if you're booked on that, Jeff will see you then.
And
Stay
don't try
frosty,
to
everyone.
make your week today.
No, don't try and make your week this week.
No hurry, especially if you've got fresh evals burning a hole in your pocket. You don't necessarily have to just go all in first thing at the bell. So keep that in mind.
Cool. So thanks, everyone. Have a good trading day. We'll catch you at the events coming up later in the week. Bye for now.